of Jamal Gale, file 24125.
All right, we are on record today for what's been adopted as the second review and a permanency planning hearing. There's also an issue with the putative father, so there's a continuing hearing on that today as well. We are on YouTube, so I'll ask everyone to try to refrain from referencing further the name of the juvenile and the names of our participants, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ariel Berger here is the guardian ad litem.
Ms. Stasia Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Bosher.
Hunter Bosher, foster care worker with Catholic Charities.
Will you spell it for me, please?
Huntyr, and Bosher is Bosher.
Thank you.
Michael McFarland, representing mother. Please introduce yourself.
Margaret Yale, mother.
All right, Ms. Thomas, do you have a preference on if we dive right into the review, or would you like to address the putative father aspects of things, or what's your preference?
Your Honor, related, we can address the putative father portion first.
Go ahead.
Okay, Your Honor, I'll call Ms. Bosher, I guess, to start that rather than trying to make argument. Thank you.
Very good. Come on up, Ms. Bosher.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bosher. As it relates to the putative fathers in this case, can you articulate what efforts have been made to identify potential putative fathers?
Yes, so Margaret, as of this point, has named, I guess we could say 4 putative fathers at this time. So we have DNA tested. 3 already. Markeith Washington, Ernest Conway, and Draven Morale. They have all came back not to be the father. I believe it was on 3/12 when Margaret was at the office with us that she did identify an Angelo. She did say that she was hesitant to identify Angelo as the father, but she did not have a last name and could not provide contact information at that time. It was then on 3/26 that the agency provided a photo of a possible Angelo, and Margaret identified that it was not her Angelo that she was speaking of. And then right prior to this hearing, Margaret did state that she does have contact information for Angelo, as she recently met him at the park. So I assume she would be providing that to the agency here soon.
Okay. And has this Angelo individual reached out to the agency independently at all?
No.
Okay, thank you. And at this time, are there any other named putative fathers that need to be tested for paternity?
There is not.
Okay. And then have the results of the paternity test been shared with the individuals who were tested?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, with that, I have no further questions of Ms. Bosher as it relates to the putative father.
Any questions, Mr. McFarland?
Just one. My client identified for you the last name of the individual this morning is Braille, Braile.
No.
Okay, will that help you?
Yes.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Okay, any questions, Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, why don't you just stay there for a minute? Because I think we're probably gonna have your testimony next. Ms. Thomas, is that where you intend to go with your testimony presentation next after I ask Ms. Berger for her update?
Your Honor, I was actually going to call Ms. Gale first, but it doesn't matter.
All right, go ahead and return your seat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Ms. Berger next for your report, pleplease.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, hang on, sorry, we didn't wrap it up. I just sort of assumed that I'd be adjourning the putative father hearing. Is that what we're going to do?
Yes, Your Honor. I think that that's appropriate at this time. I also think that during this review period, we will be requesting publication to an unknown putative father, given the difficulties that we've had in identifying one. We've had this case open since early September. And I think it's just time to wrap that portion up. So yes, just for one more review period, I would ask the putative father hearing be set with the next review.
Any objections?
No.
No objection.
All right, I will continue that then till the next hearing to allow the exploration of the final name that was provided today, as well as the potential publication, given that the three tests have come back as not matched on the names that we have so far. Let's go to Ms. Berger.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was able to do a virtual visit with the minor child during this reporting period and placement. Placement reports that they've had some, normal winter sickness in their home. There was one incident where they did have to go to urgent care, and the minor child was diagnosed with flu B, so that was a little rough for him. That happened at the end of last month. But placement still reports that he is meeting and exceeding all of his developmental milestones, that he's really liking food. She's not noticed any allergies or aversions or things like that. He's rolling, scooting, almost crawling. He's really, really developing really well. He does have some sensitive skin, so they try really hard to avoid, anything like with harsh scents or detergents or anything like that. And they do provide special diapers and wipes that don't have, additional chemicals and scents and things like that. She does also report some sleep regression, but I think that's, typical for this age. Sometimes they go through that. And she does report that sometimes the minor child does act differently when there are visits. He kind of sleeps really hard afterwards, and that might just be because of the excitement of the day. He is still fairly young to, exhibit any sort of behavior after a visit. But other than that, she reports that everything is going really well, that they're very bonded, that he's very bonded with the other foster siblings in the home. I was able to also review quickly mom's psych report during this reporting period and also the court report. I am in agreement with the agency that changing the goal at this time would be in the best interest of this minor child. The case has been open for quite some time, and mom is still having positive screens as recent as I believe the beginning of this month. So I do have a lot of substantial concerns there, that we're not really engaged in services, that we're having positive screens, that we're missing parenting time, that we're not prepared for parenting time, things like that. So I would just ask that we either just have one more review period and then consider a goal change, or consider it now. And even if we do have a goal change now, it still gives mom considerable amount of time to really buckle down and try to fully engage with services and do what she's able to do at this point. Thank you.
Okay, all right, testimony today, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, and I'd call Ms. Gale, please.
All right, come on up to our stand. Okay.
Yep, you were fine.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes.
Bunch of stuff here.
Thank you.
Ms. Thomas.
Good morning, Ms. Gale.
Good morning.
Did you have an opportunity to review the report for today's hearing?
Yes, I briefly read it. My attorney was able to get it from Summer, right there. And then I just was perusing it briefly, and I no longer have that email. So I do need to update that, but thank you for that.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna just walk through it, okay? For mental health services, are you engaging in any individual therapy?
I still have Ms. Mobley as a therapist. And then we've talked, Hunter's been working to get me established like with someone here so that I do have a local therapist. CMH was saying in the last assessment that I took that I didn't like qualify for their services. So it's supposed to be doing another review with that or another testing so I could get established with CMH. Was able to reach out to Parker, and he can get an actual psychiatrist. My issue is, I guess, with Miss Mobley's titling, she is a life coach and she's an entrepreneur and she runs People Ready, but she also does the counseling. So I guess that wasn't like meeting up to the quality because she's not a registered LL. She doesn't have her license. Is that the issue? Yeah.
Oh, I was just wondering if you were engaged in individual therapy. So it sounds like you have a life coach, and the report indicates that Ms. Mobley herself indicated that she is not a licensed mental health professional. So other than your psychiatrist, are you receiving any mental health services?
I am not. I'm not receiving any, no, ma'am.
Okay. Um, and the psychological that you participated in this review period, did you review that report?
I have not been able to review that yet. No, I did, it did look like it's just the summary was, you know, at this time, you know, she's not able to parent.
Okay.
I did not look at it fully. I briefly perused what was, yeah.
Okay. And
Yes.
employment, are you still unemployed?
Yes, I am still unemployed. I am looking for employment, but like I spoke with Dr. Parker, we don't want it to be the wrong thing. So we were talking about, you know, going the old route and actually looking for like stuff in the newspaper or word of mouth, and going by that. I do have an interview coming up at a country club, so that should be, you know, good. I just want something kind of private. I want something like secretarial work or like, you know, things that I've done in the past, not necessarily, you gotta be careful. I really think that, in my case, I don't want to just go back and work at Schmidt Pharmacy in Tecumseh because that's just not where I really want to be. I want to be like behind a desk or doing something, or even doing the home health care again, maybe, but just something that's like, you know, 9 to 5 and easy hours.
Okay. And are you still receiving, I don't know if it's inheritance, but the support from your parents?
Yes, I'm still
Okay.
receiving that.
Okay. And as it relates to housing, are you still in the shared living environment?
Yeah, I'm actually getting out of that because I don't like being in that building particularly. They've had a lot of environmental concerns, and like down in the unit number 4, I believe, the man that lives down there, his sink fell off the wall like 3 days ago, and he's like, it's just not good. So where I'm getting out of there, I may be going through Lenawee, but because I have the inheritance, I mean, I can also put that up. It's just not specifically supposed to be necessarily for rent, but because I've got to go into a different account, then that's okay. But there is also some resources in Tecumseh that are through a church that I know of, and they were talking about maybe getting the assistance for the first 2 months. I just didn't know if I wanted to be on Killbuck, so that was an issue that I was talking about with Bob Fox, who is a realtor.
What, because based on your prior testimony, in the court report, it seems that you're getting about $200 a day, which is $5,600, $6,000 a month. What is that money supposed to be used for?
It's for whatever. It's for, you know, living expenses, whatever it needs to be for, but it's not necessary because it changed. It's like, it used to be just revolving, and it changed because my issues with my brother, in Charleston. So it's basically for whatever I need. I just don't like, I'm not gonna just route it to random banks. The trust used to be SunTrust, and that's a Southern bank, so
Could you speak a little slower, please?
yeah, sure. The closest branch is in Cincinnati, Ohio. You mean it's like any bank, I mean, like you can use it anywhere. It's just, that's the closest branch. So it's not like it's not a Michigan bank. It's not a Northern bank. But yeah, you can use it. I mean, I use it for my daily needs and then putting away the money for my son. That's what I use.
Okay.
There's not like a stipulation. That was the question.
Okay. And do you have independent transportation?
I don't have a car, no ma'am.
Okay. Do you have a license?
No, I don't have a license right now. I mean, I think my license is valid. I just don't, I mean, it's in South Carolina. I don't have the actual ID.
Okay.
So, I mean, if I wanted to get a Michigan license, which I think we had put on the goals, me and Hunter, didn't we put that on the goals, me getting a license? Maybe I did that with Tracy, one of the advocates, one of the CPS.
Okay. And then the drug screens, do you dispute any of those positive drug screens?
I did not look at all of the drug screens, which was the last positive screen. Do we have that information?
Yeah, so it looks like on 129, you tested positive for THC, and then there were 2 missed screens, and on 217, tested positive for amphetamines, methamphetamines, and THC. Then the next one was missed, and then the next one was negative. Then there were 2 missed, and then a positive for amphetamines, missed color call, but then you screened and it was negative. Another screen negative. The next one was missed. Then there was a negative screen, and then the last 2, which was on 4-2, was positive for amphetamines, methamphetamines, THC, and cocaine. And then on 4-7, positive for THC.
We need to redo the 4-2, was it?
So you dispute that it should have been positive for amphetamines, methamphetamine, THC, and cocaine?
Yeah, that should not have been positive.
At the last hearing, you testified that you do not take any medication for your ADHD. Has that changed during this review period?
No, that's this, yeah, that's changed. Like, I'm not on anything. I mean, that's the same.
Okay. So when your doctor reports that he has prescribed you Adderall, are you taking that?
No, I'm not taking that at all. Like, I haven't seen him in 2 months. We wanted to actually do a physical meeting, but I was unable to get to Ann Arbor because I didn't have the means for transportation. So I did miss, let's see, we had a Teleview health session. It was scheduled, I think, for the 26th. So I rescheduled that, but yeah, well, I'm supposed to go in person to see him. So I haven't been able to get to Ann Arbor, yeah.
And
So
then for parenting time, there's been some missed visits, and then especially related to the foster care supportive visitation. What was the barrier to those parenting times?
That was upsetting. I had a man who I'm no longer involved with, and I didn't think I was really involved with him in the first place, but his name is Israel, and he was like literally trying to prevent me from going to that. And he was like, I'm about to knock you out. He stole the phone. I didn't have a phone. And literally Hunter and Veronica came over to 242 Division, thank God. But yeah, we were having some issues with the environment. And yeah, Israel Vela, who I need to get a restraining order on, I actually told Hunter the other day that I was going to do that. And she's like, the best thing to do for him and Ernest or whatever you're dealing with is to go and ask what your options are. So I have not done that yet. When I saw Angela, who was like, I really do want to be involved, but I'm gonna have you like be very, very, choice on your words, like don't say a lot. I said, yeah, I'm kind of feeling that way too, because it's always an issue. But yes, that was the issue with missing, was it the week before last? So yeah, and I really feel bad about it because it's upsetting to me and I really want to see my son.
Do you understand that at this time, the agency's report is recommending that the goal for your child turn from reunification to adoption?
Yes, and I'm upset about that.
Okay. And during this review period, how would you summarize what you have been doing to work on your case service plan?
What I've been doing, which has obviously been futile, I've tried to establish housing, which I did temporarily on Division Street. And like I said, I'm trying to completely get out of that environment because they were redoing apartments. It's just not a stable place. And there's some environmental concerns like the sinks, the paint, the lead chips, just the entryway downstairs. There's got to be a lot of stuff that happens to that apartment. And then the unit that I was in, the carpet is absolutely disgusting. And he had some relatives from before. So it's just not the best place. So for me, trying to get established in a rental type situation, I actually was offered a place on Church Street through a friend of mine, Greg, but I didn't want to take him up on that because of his wife or his ex-wife, Liz, being one of, I guess, the landlord, and she's just one of those, she's very petty about stuff and she's nasty. So because of that, I did not go live it on church. And then Lenac just needs another copy that the goal is reunification, so they can provide the whatever it is, first month rent, in a 2-bedroom apartment. However, like I was saying, I do think that I'm going to be living either west of Tecumseh or go that way and not stay in Adrian necessarily. So did I even answer the question correctly? The summary, what have I been doing? Oh, yes.
That's it.
And then part of that is trying to regularly attend the supportive visitation, going to visits, and just whatever I need to do, trying to go to get that evaluation at CMH. The first one, they were like, oh, no, you don't qualify for services. I did get another copy, so I need to go establish therapy locally. And I guess that's what another goal would be, to establish a local therapist, because my therapist does live in Florence, who, that's in South Carolina. However, she's able to, communicate with me and counsel, because we have, WhatsApp or Zoom or by phone.
Okay. And then are there any other services or referrals that you think the agency should make or could make that might be helpful in progressing in your case service plan?
Yes, I think that maybe, let's see. Services. Maybe like, maybe some sort of like maybe group support services. I don't know what maybe for other single moms, but I don't know, because I don't have a large social network. Maybe I'm trying to think what other referrals they could give. Can you I think ask.
Okay. I mean, that's maybe something that you and Ms. Bosher can discuss. I was just wondering
Yeah,
if
that'd be
there's
great.
anything
Thank you for
in
bringing that
particular.
up, though. No, I appreciate that, because that would be a good thing to talk
Okay.
about.
Thank you. With that, Your Honor, I have no further questions for Ms. Gale. Thank you.
Mr. McFarland?
I think your testimony is that you get $200 every day of the year, correct?
Yes, sir.
You realize that's $73,000.
Yes, sir.
And you said you have money saved up for your son. How much money do you have saved up?
About $5,000.
How much money do you have saved up for yourself?
I don't have anything in my name. No, I haven't put anything. It's all for him.
You realize that probably the most expensive housing you could get, rental, is only $1,000 a month, perhaps, to be $12,000 a year.
Yes.
You've heard the come to Jesus moment, right?
Mhm.
I'm here to be your attorney, not your friend, and
Yeah.
the court's heard your response that you're giving today at every single court hearing earlier. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What do you need to do to change your life?
I need to get out of Adrian. I am going to talk with Bob Fox, because we're supposed to see some houses.
Let me ask you, rephrase that. What are you going to do differently? Because the expectation may be that you're using your money on drugs because you're testing positive, and no testing is considered positive. So what are you going to do different? Let me put it that way, other than what you've already mentioned in the past.
Stay away from substance, stay away from people, places, or things that are upsetting to me. Get the restraining order on the 2 men. If I need to go to like a 2-week stability rehab, I can do that. Go ahead and let Ms. Mobley know that we are also looking for another licensed counselor. Check in with Dr. Parker and get to Ann Arbor within the next week, because I've got the appointment coming up. Make sure that I have that money for transportation. If not, I can pay Jeff's rides in advance, even if it is $350, those things.
You and I have had a discussion about what the case service plan is, correct?
Yes, sir.
What's your understanding of what a case service plan is?
What a case service plan?
What is it?
like what I need to comply with in order for reunification to happen and for us to do the no contest.
Okay, great. And we've also discussed, haven't we, the urgency with time, that time in a child's life is not the same as time in an adult's life, right? Is there anything else that we can do that you think that can prevent a petition for termination from being filed?
I would like, if possible, to do the 2-hour visitation, consolidated time, and not have it twice a week. That would be helpful to me. I don't know if that would be an option. That's what that would really help me, because then I can plan for the week and I can make sure that, like, okay, here we are. I've had my visit with him for the week. I don't have to feel, I miss my son like that. It's, I would prefer that we do it Mondays and have the 2 hours with him, and unless we're considering increasing the amount of time, which would be amazing too. But if not, I would like to just consolidate it to a 2-hour block instead of having the 1 hour and then another hour.
Do you want more parenting time?
Yes, I would like more parenting time.
Does that mean more days? Do you want
Yes.
more days?
Yes.
How many more days could you have parenting time?
At least another 2 more days.
So a total of 3 days?
Yeah, I mean, if it was an option, I would see him every day, but I don't think that's an option. Yeah, I would like that.
Okay. Any other issues that you want to bring up to the court today?
No, just the struggles with the exes, which is not an excuse. It's just, I really don't know. I mean, and I can't fight it anymore. Maybe if I was a whippersnapper at 21, I mean, here I am at 39, and I'm not gonna have you threatened by a 6-foot man. It's like, okay, yeah, I get the deal, but it's with reference to the environment in the past, that is a big issue with me. So I do need to file that today. It's got to be a restraining order, because then the sister had access to my old phone, and I can't have that. That's got bygones are bygones. There's no, with that reference to that family, those children, even if it is like a nice uncle, they don't have anything to do with my child. And
Yeah, I think we understand the protection order.
oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Nothing further. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
Any questions, Ms. Berger?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Gill, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
You testified as to your income, is that right?
Yes.
What do you spend all that money on?
That's funny you asked that. For me, it's like, if I would rent a room, but I have not been able to do that since Ernest has been back in town. And so that's the issue with that. But for me, it's basic living. So it's, whatever the child needs, it's clothes, it's, food. I do spend that on food. I did fill out the bridge card information and was awarded food stamps. I think April 5th, they said they put the money on the card, but I never received the card. So I ordered it again to 242 Division, and I've been checking the mailbox and it has not arrived. So that is another thing that getting food stamps was on my list, but I did apply for that. So for me, it's food. And there was an issue with Israel taking the card. I remember when Hunter and I went to Jackson, he had taken the card beforehand. So I don't know. It's all of those past people that I don't need to deal with. For me, I don't have a problem budgeting that money and then putting it away for, I think there was a period of 3 weeks that I saved $100 a week. So that added to what I had already in the savings.
So you're spending $200 a day on food.
No.
So where's that money going?
What do you mean? Like, I spend it on food, yeah, for me, but that's not 200 a day worth.
Right. So
Like,
if you're
I'm
getting
saying
$200 a
food.
day, then what are you spending all of that money on?
As gas,
For what vehicle?
gas. For the guy that dropped me off here, Zeke, Isaiah. Yeah,
Okay.
like that would be $40. Like for Jeff's rides, when I went to the eye doctor the other day in Tecumseh, that was $48 just to get there. I mean, if it's that much of an issue over my debit, which I know it has been in the past, and it has been an issue with my inheritance, and that does have to do with Ernest Conway, like that, I don't want to get into all of this now, but it seems to always be a focus, and I can understand, what are you doing with your money? If it's an issue, I can close that bank and just have nothing to do with it, because it gets back in, and I'm not really close to my mom, and I don't want it to be an issue of, okay, we don't have the jurisdiction now because we're bringing in stuff from South Carolina. I don't want to deal with it. So, I mean, and I'm not being defensive. It's a fair question, but I thought I needed that for my son and to be putting away money. If it's going to be an issue of, well, who had a, you know, what are you doing with it? Then it does need to come out of it, because I don't want to lose my son because of that.
Are you sending any of that money, or any supplies to his foster home?
His foster? No, I have not sent them anything. And I thought about that. I was like asking, what is her name the other day? She's a little black lady who lives on Hunt Street. She was like, I was like, do you think that would be rude if I was buying him clothes and you know, bringing the clothes to the visits, or buying him anything else? And she was like, well, you just need to ask first. That's what she said. I didn't know.
Okay, no other questions. Thank you.
Any redirect, Ms. Thomas?
Ms. Gale, I am just, I want to be clear, we're not concerned about the fact that you have money. That's a very positive thing. I think the questioning is more about how it's being utilized or who has access to it. The report indicates that you don't have your debit card. Where's your debit card?
My debit card is with Zeke right now, the guy who dropped me off here. And
Why does he
he's
have
got
it and
a
not you?
taxi. That's what I said, but it's better than somebody like, yeah, well, Ernest is in town and I'm not gonna let them do you like that in court. I'm like, I don't believe you, but you can say that, but at least I'm not dealing with an ex. He's not an ex of mine. I'm not involved with him like that. And he's remained professional about it. He's like, so that's why, but I do not,
Okay.
you know, that is why I don't have it. And I'm literally, when I call him, he's literally giving it to me, and then we're going to come see. So I've got things I've got to do. I mean, I've got to go check in at Incline and see if they can order my contacts. This whole thing. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Thank you. With that, Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Any recross?
No, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your
Yes,
seat.
thanks.
Your next witness, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll call Ms. Bosher to give her report.
Ms. Bosher, come on back after a witness stand. You have been sworn. Remain under oath.
Thank you, Ms.
Proceed
Bosher. Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Bosher, for this court report, are there any updates or modifications that you need to make to it, or any of the attachments?
There's some minor updates, yes.
Okay, can you please provide those?
Yes, so Margaret has to now be at the office an hour before the scheduled parenting time. I have explained this to her. This is due to her multiple confirmations and then just not showing up. So essentially the baby is traveling an hour there, waiting 15 minutes, and with Margaret not showing up, then traveling back. So we have discussed it with Margaret. She has said it's not an issue. She comes in an hour before. This has happened once, and she puts her stuff down. She even walked down to the food bank to check that out. So that is now our new plan for parenting times. Also a little confusing, which I haven't had the time to, I guess, ask Margaret about this, but it was on Sunday, the 13th. She confirmed a visit with me on my work phone, and then she also showed up to the office. It's to my assumption that she got her days of the week confused and was thinking that it was maybe Monday. I did text her on the Monday to the number that she confirmed that Sunday visit with, but I do not believe that's her number, so I didn't receive a response. I guess that is all of my updates.
Okay. I know at the last hearing, there were some concerns about not receiving essentially therapy notes from Ms. Mobley, and your report indicates that it seems like you were able to speak with her finally.
Yes, I was able to get a hold of her. Prior to that, I was emailing her, trying to receive some reports, and I just wasn't getting responses. This kind of adds up now as she's not a licensed therapist, and she explained herself as a mentor to Margaret. And so she wouldn't have therapy notes or any such things like that.
Okay. And then your report indicates that I think I'm understanding this correctly, you've made 3 referrals to CMH for Ms. Gale for,
Yeah.
is it mental health and for substance abuse?
Yes, so she's able to get both assessments done there. I verbally told her multiple times that she does need to go there and get those assessments straightened away. And then I've given her 3 physical copies of a referral.
And have you assisted her on the intake call, or have you been present during like the intake call to access?
I haven't been present for an intake call. I have offered that I can be present. I have called CMH and essentially figured out what she needs to do to go there. I believe it is included in my referral that she needs to talk to an access clinician and figure it out from there. But I would be more than willing to go down there with her as well.
Are you under the impression that she's reporting that she does not use any substances?
Yeah, so I'm under the impression that when she was requesting a substance use assessment, that she reported that she does not use substances. So CMH essentially cannot do anything with that because she's not reporting the use.
Okay. And then generally speaking, what is the risk of harm to the child if he were to be returned to Ms. Gale's care and custody today?
I think generally it'd be homelessness or the lack of stable housing, financial mismanagement, the need to address her mental health and possible inability to make sound decisions for herself or her child. And then just honestly, with the financial mismanagement, the lack of daily necessities that would be required for the baby.
The psychological that you've included in this report indicates that it does not appear that Ms. Gale could be, that she's competent to be a primary caregiver for her child. Have you ever discussed with Ms. Gale or any of her supports the potential need for a guardian or a conservator?
I haven't discussed it with Margaret herself. I would say it has come up with her mentor, Carolyn Mobley, but it hasn't been dived into.
Okay, thank you for that. And then generally speaking, what other services is the agency looking for her to complete, or any referrals that you can make at this point in time?
I think for extra referrals that could be beneficial. So I have given her 2 referrals to a financial empowerment class that's online. I believe they're ending soon, but I did give her 2 physical referrals and the information for that. I did also inform her that if she needed access to a computer, that she could utilize ours. And then also if she needed help with the signing up process, I could help with that as well. Also referrals that come to the top of my head, domestic violence referrals could be beneficial. And then also referrals that could come from a substance use assessment, just based on the recommendations off of that. And then also, as she stated, I don't think it would be harmful for her to get into a single mom's group or group therapy additionally. And if she's willing to do inpatient, I wouldn't be opposed to getting that court ordered as well.
Wonderful. Is there anything else that you would like to report to the court today as relates to Ms. Gale's compliance with and or benefit from any services during this review period?
I just think generally this reporting period, there's been minimal compliance, just inconsistent drug screens, and then also positives, inconsistent with parenting times, inconsistent with parenting necessities like bringing a diaper bag or knowing where her diaper bag is. I just think with about 8 months into this case, our goal is to look at the permanency for the baby at this time and what the best options are for that.
And at this time, are you asking the court to change the goal from reunification to adoption?
Yes.
All right, thank you. With that, Your Honor, if no further questions of Ms. Bosher, I move to admit the court report with its attachments.
No objection.
No objection.
Thank you. They have received questions for this witness, Mr. McFarland.
Just one. When you say you're asking this court to change the goal to adoption, are you asking the court to order you to file a petition for termination of parental rights?
Not at this time, no.
So what, are you asking for a dual goal of adoption and reunification?
I think the goal could be changed to adoption with the concurrent goal being reunification, but I think with a reporting period with the goal of adoption, we could see if there is substantial progress being made in the right direction. And if there is not, then a termination petition could be requested.
Just refresh my memory. How long has this case been open?
About 8 months.
Okay, nothing further.
Questions, Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Do you have any contact with Ms. Gale's extended family? Like her, I think I read that she has another child that's already living with grandparents. And she obviously spoke to some sibling connections. Does the family have any involvement with Margaret or any idea what's happening?
They do to an extent. I don't personally talk to them as much as I know my supervisor has had minimal contact with them as well. But essentially we've confirmed that she does receive that $200 a day, and that was our biggest aspect of reaching out to them. We wanted to confirm that.
Well, the child is in an unrelated foster care placement, right?
Correct.
So tell me what was done to look at potentially exploring family placements.
So they, from our knowledge, they're not willing to take placement of the child right now. They are elderly. They are older. We have told them that he is in a safe and secure placement that loves him, that he's being well cared for, and they are over the moon about that. They just want him to be cared for and loved.
Questions based on my questions?
None.
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
I thank you for your testimony and your answers. Any other witnesses today, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Witnesses today, Mr. McFarland?
None.
Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor.
Very well. Comments in closing, beginning with Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm looking at my notes from our last hearing in January. And this court found that reasonable efforts were being made because there were several referrals and services being offered to Ms. Gale. There were some issues with parenting time. She was missing about 25% at that period of time. And based on her testimony, there was a lot of disconnect and it was confusing. This court had reminded Ms. Gale that she needs to decide what she's going to do because right at that point in time, her behaviors were concerning. This court was not going to ask her to do anything other than remind her that she had an opportunity to put her life together and to get her son back. And if she doesn't want to do that, then he's in a place where he's well taken care of. Your Honor, I think that those comments still apply today, and perhaps even more so. I am concerned for Ms. Gale and her safety, her awareness and ability to manage life decisions for herself, let alone for her child. I don't think that based on what we have in a court report and the psychological and the proofs that we've had in the last 8 months or so, that we can safely return this child within any reasonable amount of time. I think that this is also evident from the fact that she has an older child who is not in her care and has never been in her care. Your Honor, we are asking the court to change the goal to adoption and allow the agency to make efforts towards finalizing that goal. And of course, we'd continue to monitor Ms. Gale's progress. But Your Honor, at this point in time, we don't often have families or parents who have such significant financial resources and still unable to maintain a level of independence and safety for themselves, let alone their children. And in this case, we have someone who has that and still hasn't done some of the bare minimum that we would anticipate a parent to be able to manage on their own. It's like having a state license or state ID, having independent transportation, having independent and safe and suitable housing, being able to protect against individuals who are harmful and or exploit her for her money or something else. And I just, it's very concerning. I really hope that she is safe and okay. At this point, we cannot in good conscience ask the court to consider anything other than adoption for this child and his safety long-term. Thank you.
Mr. McFarland?
I've tried to express to my client with my questions in our discussion prior to court that she's on the edge of a cliff, that she needs to step back, turn around and put her money where her mouth is, so to say. And we would like to have another opportunity to avail herself of community mental health, which will address the substance abuse issues, which she's not denying, which will also address the mental health issues, she's not denying, which may also then turn around her ability to obtain housing, to break away from the individuals who she's been hanging around with who are not contributing. I don't see them in court here supporting her today, not contributing to the return of her kids. So if the court is inclined to proceed to termination, we'd ask that be a dual goal, not only termination, but also reunification to give her another period to demonstrate that she's capable of doing it. Thank you.
Ms. Berger?
Thank you, Your Honor. I am in support of the agency's request at this point. I do have a lot of concerns for mom, but more so I have concerns for this child if he were to be returned to her in this state. So I think that it's appropriate to change the goal. I think that it would be appropriate to order the department to file a termination petition now, but if they want to wait and give mom a little bit more time to see if she's able to come into compliance, then I would be okay with that as well. But the case has been open for a relatively long time for basically a newborn at the point he came into care. So I think we need to really start looking at realistically what we're going to be doing in this case. And I think that having a goal change or even a dual goal would move us in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you. The court finds all interested parties were given notice for purposes of today's review and permanency planning hearing. There were some areas that Ms. Gale was asked to remedy in order to have the child return to her care. That included housing and typically I would say employment, but in this case it would be financial literacy in order to be able to maintain things like housing, transportation, basic needs for herself and her child. That would, of course, expand into being able to meet his medical needs, his physical needs, his educational needs. It's been difficult to identify the barriers keeping Ms. Gale from making progress on those particular aspects of her own life. And although she appears to care about her child, perhaps the struggle to identify those barriers that get in the way of her making any progress is not something that is, at least at this point, surmountable. The court has listened to her testimony for 2 court hearings at this point. I've reviewed all of the documentation. I've listened to Ms. Hunter Boscher's testimony, all of which certainly constitutes a reasonable effort towards goal of reunification. I appreciate, for example, the referrals that you left in here, specifically the piece on financial empowerment classes twice. I saw that you referred her twice to those classes, once in March and once in April. Those are the kind of things that we needed Ms. Boscher to do in order to allow Ms. Margaret Gale to potentially make some progress. The rest of it really was up to her. It would appear at this point in time that there has not been any progress made in those areas. There was a reference in I believe in the court report about the individual that Ms. Margaret Gale sees regularly, her life coach, which is a great resource for her to have. But essentially, her life coach indicates that Margaret seems to be content with her circumstances. The psychological assessment that was completed by Mr. Brent Smith also indicates that she seems to be, frankly, content with her circumstances. Some rather significant remarks, especially from a professional, included Ms. Gale is not currently competent to be the primary parent to her son. There were some other pieces there in support of that, noting that her mental health has greatly impacted her ability to make safe and informed decisions regarding her child's care as well as her own, which is clearly something we're seeing repeated here. In the last 8 months that the child has been removed. But perhaps most significantly, I noticed that the doctor indicates the clinical interview, this is page 4, last full paragraph, revealed numerous concerns regarding Ms. Gale's abilities to parent her child in a safe and effective manner. This is also supported by previous psychological testing completed in 2016 and 2017. Previous testing revealed a lengthy history of mental illness beginning in childhood. She's expressed she loves her son, which I think everyone can see that. However, it fails to follow through with the necessary life changes to allow her to effectively parent. So I think that pretty much says it succinctly. It's been said in several different ways today by Ms. Bosher, supported by Ms. Berger, and frankly supported by the observations that the court has made on those barriers that continue to prevent the court from returning her son to her care. I will note that the initial disposition entered in November 1st of 2024 is when Ms. Margaret Gale was delivered her case services plan. So we are in fact not at the 6-month mark of the opportunity for her to make progress in these areas. I will agree that a dual goal is appropriate, given that, given the findings that I just made about the potential improvement in the circumstances. But in all fairness, she should be given the opportunity that most of other parents are given, which is at least 6 months of efforts in order to begin or make any changes that she may be able to make. So I'll give you the dual goal, and we'll have the next review to look at the circumstances as well as permanency planning options in July, on July 8th at 9 o'clock in the morning, if everyone's available. Ms. Berger, does that work for you?
It does, Your Honor. Thank you.
Great, okay. So we'll do this review then at 9 a.m. in conjunction with the pregnancy planning hearing, as well as the continued putative father hearing. In the meantime, the child will remain under the care and custody of the Department of Health and Human Services and placed with the department in the same home that he has been. He seems to be doing well there. And we're grateful for the foster care home's care of Ms. Gale's son as she tries to remedy some of the issues that brought him into care. And we'll look at the case and determine whether or not a petition for termination should be filed at the next review. What that means, frankly, is that the department needs to be ready for that filing, Ms. Thomas, at the next review hearing. Ms. Bosher, I'm sure that will include you helping prepare that. If the circumstances are the same as what we've seen today, I will be ordering that the department file the petition for termination of parental rights within 28 days of our next review hearing. So if you're ready to do it when we get here, we can schedule it appropriately. We can manage the docket as well as the case progress in an ideal way. All right. I don't think I forgot anything, but if I did, feel free to ask. Unless there's any questions, that'll be all for today.
We're off the air if you could get my client's new email address.